everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know we're about on the holiday, so hopefully this is one of the last things you're doing online before then. You're here for the Authentic Conversations with Entrepreneurs, and today we have Miss Jennifer Phelps, one of my dear friends across the country. She's over in Arizona. She is a relationship coach for you and your space. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, right? Because we do have a relationship with our space. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But she's also the owner of Jennifer Phelps Organized Design Reinvent. She is a wonderful speaker. And I think what with COVID, you expanded to not having to actually physically be in the space because that was so challenging, right?
Yeah, I'm working online so I can work with anybody because once we start getting some ahas and we start making change in your space, I mean, it just starts flowing.
Like
So really,
breakthrougs.
yeah,
Yeah.
so really
So we're
there's a
going to talk
lot we
more
can do.
about that, you and me, separately from this conversation. But yes, this
Everybody
is
should talk to me.
so yeah, I just God, I wish we already had more time. But yes, this is our 12th episode of Authentic Conversations. And I always like to begin by saying we are talking about honoring your needs here with Jennifer, but I always like to say, explain again, what is Authentic Conversations with Entrepreneurs all about? Why am I doing this? I just believe, and I think this conversation in particular, Jennifer, thank you for being open to it. I just think we have to be real in business. There's a lot we can read about the successes of entrepreneurs, and we do need to celebrate those wins. But the journeys we take, the real human experience of being an entrepreneur and all the stuff it brings up for you that makes you as killer as you are as an entrepreneur needs to be discussed. So I call that the good and the growing. It's the true authenticity. And this show is all about that, sharing those stories, the brave, courageous souls that want to share the vulnerability of truly being authentic. So thank you so much, Jennifer. And let's just start at the beginning, honoring your needs. What is that about to you? We know who you are. You can say hi again, but what does that mean to you?
I have not in my life been great at honoring my needs. A friend of mine, we talk about, childhood trauma and things like that, or narcissistic parents or whatever else, that we end up being needless and wantless. And that can feel like it's really good, or it's like spiritual or philosophical or whatever, or humble. But what ends up happening is that we don't pay attention to what we need. We minimize what we need. We feel selfish for asking for what we need. And in my case, 2 times end up in long-term relationships because you're a magnet for people who know how to exploit a needless, wantless person.
Yeah.
Take what they offer. And then, of course, I was not in a position to ask.
Yeah.
And so eventually, that almost killed me.
We're diving right in, Jennifer. Thank you.
We're diving right in. That's right. And
tell us more. Tell us more.
We're entrepreneurs, and Jenny Harkleroad, also an amazing speaker and coach. She was talking about how, especially entrepreneurs, we're killing ourselves for our work. All the balls are in the air. If we drop one ball, and we're a solopreneur especially, or a couple people rely on us, we lose the whole thing, or we're afraid we will. So It's a lot of pressure for us as entrepreneurs to be on all the time.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you for calling that elephant out in the room. I think this conversation is so timely because, it's happening all the time, but the time to really get real with yourself and reflect is here at end of year. And it's a time where naturally you can look back and say, this is the journey I've taken. So I know when you said almost killed you, people are going, okay, whoa. What do you mean? Like, be specific.
Whoa.
So take us to that experience. What happened?
Well, we're talking about my mental health journey here, and I've had ups and downs with depression for a long time. I think since junior high. It's been situational, and it rolls and flows. And so, but eventually, this was the summer before COVID, I started realizing that I was feeling more down than usual, and that I wasn't going to just will myself out of it. So I started seeing a therapist. that wasn't the right therapist for me, and I got a different therapist, and I just started realizing that, and that one was a really good therapist. I started seeing how I was not going to pull myself out of this one. And this one was different. And I didn't realize how many months I'd started to drift downward. Lack of confidence, sort of fading into the background. And well, let me say slightly different. I'm a big, bold, outgoing person.
Yeah.
I was a big, bold, outgoing person, because what's the face of depression? This smile is the face of
What,
depression.
Robin Williams, right?
Exactly. I'm quoting Robin
Yeah.
Williams. And so nobody knew. See, that's the other thing. Nobody knew. And as I'm drifting farther and farther into this, I realize I was having suicidal ideations, and I realized that I was going to have to get real help. And that was a big thing for me. Never judge anybody. I've never judged anyone for their mental health journey. But here I was thinking I could just do it myself. But then I realized that I was going to have to get help, and I had to do it by myself. So as I'm drifting deeper and deeper into this, and I'm having serious, planning sessions in my brain, I started calling around, and I couldn't find anyone to take me. I realized
was that right around the time of COVID, when it was just insane?
it was the fall before that, because it was months. This went on a long time, in fact. So I was drifting downward, and then starting that fall, I realized, oh my gosh, I have to do something. And
it was like slow and then sudden. Like, I absolutely have to.
It's like a frog in the pot.
Mm.
It heated up slowly and slowly. But thank goodness there was a part of my brain that said, you need to get help.
You're getting cooked.
This is not going to change. This is getting serious. And I wasn't telling people. And so anyway, it took me months calling and calling and calling places when I didn't want to do anything. And mind you, I'm not really doing much work, because I can compartmentalize my clients. They get my full attention. What's on my mind is not needed in
yourself
their space.
last, right?
I can be authentic, but there's just, I don't have to be grumpy around them. But when that started being exhausting, me getting like energy depleted from working with my clients, that is not me.
Right.
So I'm making phone calls. No one's taking new patients. Making phone calls. No one's taking new patients. My insurance place, they didn't have anybody right now who were taking.
Oh my God.
And so this went on for months and months.
Here you are trying to honor your needs, and you can't find someone to help you do that. Yeah.
And I think about people who don't know how to work that kind of system, don't know how to find information or how to find help. And it makes me really sad, because it was really hard for me. And I go, a week or two without making a phone call, because I didn't want to.
Right.
So
you had to will yourself to it. Yeah.
So I told my best friend, who also suffers from severe mental health issues, and I love her, and thank God she had experience. I mean, how do you say?
Yeah.
But I hadn't told anybody else. So finally, I got a hold of someone who would take me. This was in the end of November. I couldn't get an appointment till the end of January. So I still had to hang on. There was a piece that had a little hope, but finally I told my partner at the end of the year. I hadn't told him. And I was miserable. I was miserable in the relationship. I was miserable with where my business was going. It was a relationship I shouldn't have still been in. It was a toxic relationship, and I wasn't supported. And then I told him, and he never said a word about it after that. Not a hug, nothing.
Oh my God.
I look back and I'm like, I don't even know how, but I didn't have the strength to make these changes, And so after I went by myself, I told a couple people. I had to tell my mom that in my mind I had decided that people would be fine without me. My friends would be fine. Eventually, everyone would be sad. I know people love me, but people would get on with their lives. And my mom has another daughter. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these are crazy things, but a lot of
It's
people
part of
going
the
through.
condition. Yeah.
And there's a spectrum, but it was a slow increase. And that's where I got to. And it felt like a great way out. And so like I said, I told a few people, and then I went and I got medication. I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
I'm not a medicine-y person, but I needed to save my life because I could not. It was a chemical brain track.
Yeah.
I created that habit in my brain.
Yeah.
Chicken or the egg? Was it stress? Was it the overwhelm? Was it the misery? Was it the other things that were happening in my relationship, different kinds of insecurity? And then depression? Or did depression make all of those things worse? I don't know, but I've got to tell you, I thank God every day for that depression. And it had to get so bad that I'm justifying me leaving the planet for me to realize how unhappy I was.
Yeah.
And got on medication. Takes a few weeks. I had to tell my partner, oh, by the way, I'm on medication, so if something happens, you need to know what I'm on. Still no conversation. Took a few weeks for it to kick in. I'm like back on. I am with my clients starting up. And then March happens and COVID hits.
Like the shit hit the fan, you mean?
So then all my work shut down again. But
oh my God.
I was clear. I had clarity of mind to see what was happening with my partner and in my life. And I said, wait a minute, this isn't happening. So with no money,
I'm not getting in a lockdown with you.
I jumped out of that house and I got an apartment, not knowing how I'd pay for it. But this is what I'm saying is sometimes the best thing. So the problem was I wasn't honoring my needs. The problem was I had made it so that I was in an environment of intimate relationships with people who didn't support me. I had friends who loved me. I wasn't relying on them. And I kept thinking I could do it myself. I kept thinking I can will myself out of it. And all of those things were the problem. And that was the struggle. And getting treatment was incredible. And suddenly clarity of mind. That was an 8.5-year relationship.
Holy crap.
Yeah, we were living together and I jumped out. One day it was like, oh my God, it's done. Plucked me, like a hand reached down and plucked me out. and my brain was able to manage that. I was like, yes, thank you for the clarity. Thank you.
Yeah.
For letting me see
like the fog was lifted.
How unhappy was I with wantless and needless that was not serving me?
Yeah. Well, I just want to pause for a second because I mean,
sorry, go on, but
no. I mean, you're taking us on the whole journey, and I don't want you to chapter 1, chapter 2. I think you just got to go, this is what it is. Because, and I hope what's happening for people is whether you are someone who struggles with a mental health situation, or I know somebody who does. And it's important to not turn a blind eye to it, whether for yourself or for somebody else. And I know I will just say, if you're okay with it, Jennifer, so Jennifer released this YouTube video. I don't know when, what was like October maybe of this year?
It was Mental Health Week, month, day, something.
Yeah. So, you shared your story about depression and, you put it out there. And, for myself, different path, but this is about authenticity. And it's taken our conversation and time for me to share, but we're lifting the veil of shame here because I feel I can similarly say, probably started when I was about a teenager, having issues with anxiety. And I just thought, oh yeah, everybody has that. Everybody has those weird thoughts. like about the most horrible thing that could possibly happen. And I think there was years similar to you of just getting by with it. And it's just you're used to it. It's just part of who you are. So it feels normal to a certain extent, or how to manage it.
Yeah.
For myself, it took, COVID, and then 2 years later, like the top of this year, where it hit the fan and it was pouring down, right? And I
Yeah.
think that similar to you, I mean, I'm so appreciative of you being willing to talk about this. I love this topic of honoring your needs because you may think you are, but if you have even the slightest inkling of this, like life brings you to the place where you will deal with it. And I am so thankful for it. I am so thankful. I probably fell to my knees and I started the year with the word persist. And 2 months in, I was like, surrender, surrender. But it is
Yeah.
about surrendering to the truth of who you are. And I think if I can just get on my little soapbox for a
Please
second,
do.
I feel that I am so passionate about this. You know, After my retreat, I talked about my struggles with dermatillomania. That was a journey for me to come out with that. That's in the OCD family.
Brave.
We are not, thank you. We are not broken people. We're people who are growing. These are, honestly, I know I sound crazy, but I see these as superpowers. We have insights into the world in a way that other people don't. And it makes us stronger because of this journey. I
If we
think
pay
that,
attention to that, some people
yes,
avoid it.
if
They
you
don't
honor
want
your
to go
needs
into
and
that where they're afraid to look in there. And the more they look inside themselves, the more compassion we have for others, the more understanding, power.
that's how I'm able to do what I do with the authentic work, right? Like, I think though that I had this aha moment where I was like, you talked about kind of the genetic factors for you, and I also have that in my family, which is where a lot of the mental health things come from. But I think that, you know, we celebrate, the creative side of me. Oh, my mother was an artist and I went to art school and I have this whole creative side of me, that genetic thing. But we shame the parts that, aren't as acceptable. But I think all of us, in one way or another, have moments of depression or have actual mental health conditions. And I mean, I think I can speak for you too, Jennifer, and say, don't hesitate to reach out to either of us.
Yes,
We see you,
100%.
we see you, and
Absolutely.
we are here for you.
Just a
Yeah.
conversation. You don't even have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm in a pit of despair. You don't have to. Just
Yeah.
even talking, ask for a friend.
Yeah. There's zero shame in it. I think part of this is important to highlight because entrepreneurs are people too. And the journey of entrepreneurship is about honoring who you are in every way. And because of the unique journey you've had, this experience, let's go there next. Let's talk about, is this something that just happens with you or me, or have you seen some of this with your clients? How does this come into your space?
Right. It's interesting because, and this is, I just want to say this is men and women. Men are even less likely to ask for help than women are. And I
Yeah.
feel like that is a terrible shame. And that's part of one of the big problems in society is that men don't feel as safe to come forward with these things. And getting a therapist, doing anything, anybody, I think every entrepreneur should have a therapist. But
Amen. Yes.
But what's interesting though is my job is literally to shine light into the dark corners. So I'm a professional organizer, but I coach people around their relationship to their stuff in their space, because no matter who else is in your life, your environment is a primary relationship. You see it, last thing you see before you go to sleep, first thing you see in the morning, and zap, that impression is made in our brain, goes with that for the rest of the day. Then we see the piles of potions of things telling us that we're getting old. And then we go in our closet, might have all kind of great clothes, but we're not going to fit into that outfit, which we think is better. And so nothing we put on is going to feel right to us. And then by the time we walk out the door or walk into our home office, it's like death by 1,000 arrows. And then we're just supposed to go out and be great and rock everything. But we're already, damaging ourselves in our environment from the moment we wake up to the moment we end up at our desk. And then do we want to come home? No. That's why the most popular presentation that I'm giving now that's in demand is, are you in a toxic relationship with your space?
When are you hosting the next one? Are you doing it virtually? Because I want to be there.
I don't have one posted. I should do that. But it's like, are you in a relationship? These are questions from Psychology Today about how to know. Does it make you feel bad about yourself, remind you of past mistakes? Do you feel like your partner is working against you fulfilling your dreams? Do you dread coming home? Do you dread coming home because you don't want to see them?
Or if you work from home, are you like, holy shit, like this
and I'm reading these, and it's like, and then also, are you too embarrassed to have them around family, friends, or God forbid, clients? I mean, I'm like, this is exactly the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Home offices, are a disaster.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite place. I mean, I work with everything, but there's where our mind is. That's where our heart is. We can see that's the special spot. And what I love about my work is that, and I've always known this, but the clutter, depression, anxiety cycle is well known and documented in the psychological journals, because
educate us, please.
right? We stop taking care of our space because we don't have the energy, or so we're depressed, and then or we get depressed and then we don't take care of it, or we don't take care of it and then we get depressed, because it's like having 1,000 tabs open, because our brain's job is to say, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. In the blink of an eye, we have our brain opening 1,000 tabs, telling us what we haven't done. Not saying, oh my God, you're awesome. Look what you did. You're so good. You're so amazing. That outfit looks great on you. If you're
a totally different experience.
That outfit, that person would cry because you look so great. No, we're like, I didn't fit in that outfit because I don't exercise and I ate that other thing the other day and I should do this. And I mean, that is what our brains do. They report, and they report in sequence, and we're sentient beings. So mind, heart, spirit, all connected. And so I love the fact that I work with my clients to help them see that as well. And having gone through as deeply as I did, it also makes me even more bold, helping people in those dark, dark, dark spaces. Now, sometimes it's a messy closet. It's not like, necessarily gremlins, but in our brain, there's gremlins back there. There are,
I love it.
It's related to trauma, and sometimes it's all of these other things. And the fact that I can bring this to my clients, and that I understand it, and that I've been through this and have zero judginess. Part of my mantra, zero judginess. That's really powerful. I love being able to do that with people, and having my experience has empowered me even more to empower my own clients. And
Same here. Same here.
Strong. I'm okay with it. You can have your experience because I'm okay. You can share it with me.
I always say, when I feel like the goosebumps, like it's like really connecting, I'm just like covered in like goosebumps all over as you're talking, Jennifer. I usually ask, like, how is connecting with this truth of the honoring your needs like help to ignite your business? But you just said it there, like this. I mean, you knew it. I know. We worked together years ago, and this deep connection and like the relationship piece of the work you do has always been there. But I can just absolutely feel through our conversations, in this one especially, like the truth of the deepening of that. And you just don't get that anywhere else. Like, you don't just organize, design, and reinvent. I wrote down.
The reinvention part is my favorite part.
But I wrote down, you said, I'm going to say it again because it was absolutely powerful. You shine a light in the dark corners. That is, I feel like, should be your tagline. Like, that is so, it says it all. Like, the stuff you want to hide because it's shame, it's not just stuff. It lives in you too. Like, that's just absolutely blows my mind.
Our stuff tells stories, whether it's that painting that your spouse wants from the mother-in-law in the bedroom, right? Or
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just things that you have that you think you're supposed to have, gifts from people who you don't love and who don't love you. I mean, it goes on and on. Every little thing's a story. Some of it's
Well, it's
easy.
like,
Some of it's
I love
like
that.
trigger.
Yeah, our stuff tells stories and we hear it every single day.
What
Like,
story is your stuff telling you?
yeah, that's a question. I mean, I believe in true confessions. So I'm just going to tell you, prior to this live, my husband was giving me, like his Bluetooth things, like they're better than mine. And he looks at my desk and he's like, "Whoa, this." And I was like, the irony.
I don't see it. I don't see it, Katherine.
There's a screen for a reason. So I am so on board, Jennifer, and I know I'm not the only one. I mean, my first job out of school where I interned and then I started in Florida. Sorry, Rick. His desk was covered, and I feel it. I mean, I'm very similar now, but like he had stacks and stacks and stacks, and like I mean, I remember thinking at that point I was early in my career, like, whoa, what is that? But I so get it now. Like I have stacks and stacks, and I know exactly where the things are. But
Right.
that doesn't mean it doesn't like distract. It doesn't show up in this conversation. It doesn't show up in client calls because I'm
But you're
authentic,
looking at
but
that.
I'm
But you're
feeling it.
looking at that while you're talking to potentially a new client. And
Yeah,
there's a
before we
little
started,
thing
I was
that
like, what is this sticking out over here?
I know, but that's part of it. It's like, oh, we can't do that. If they saw, I can't. Not
It's the
using
record playing in the background.
in your brain is like, oh, this is amazing. I'm good at what I do. And then there's a piece saying, who are you kidding? You can't even handle your mail pile. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a file maker. I readily admit that. But my tagline is because life is messy.
Yeah.
It's messy. We just need
Yeah.
to have systems
Let's
and
not
structures.
pretend it's not. Like, yeah.
This is how quickly we can recover. It's
Yeah.
life is messy. If we have
Amen.
systems, we can let it get messy. We don't have to judge ourselves. It can do the things it needs to do, and then we can recover more quickly. And when we have 2 minutes between the soccer games and the whatevers,
Yeah.
and oh yeah, being an entrepreneur.
Right. Right. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Jennifer, I'm so glad we've done this. I know people are wondering where to find you, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick that up. It's
I'm so proud of it.
there's the .org for the organization of self, I think, as well.
JenniferPhelps.org, like organize.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you've given so many tips, but what else would you share with our viewers today?
I would say don't judge other people. We don't know what they're going through. We have no idea. And remember, people keep a smile, but they can be very, very miserable. Reach out to people. And most important, don't judge yourself. Please reach out. It's not going to go away. You might manage it, but what kind of life is that? You don't have to be suicidal like I was. We're just depressed. Anxiety, all of these things, whatever version of things there are in the world, in our brains, please reach out and don't hesitate to ask somebody. There are online resources if you want to be anonymous. You probably know people who've had this experience, but you haven't reached out to them.
Yeah.
Do that. And for me, being careful of our environment and how it's affecting us, because we can go do all of these great things and go to massages and cleanses and business coaches and life coaches. And then we walk back into the same house, the same office. And then we try to grow in the same broken pot. So we do all of this other stuff, but we do not address our environment. We talk about global environment, but our literal, what is within reach, is powerful in its effect on you. And it's very much subconscious, but it's like those 1,000 tabs with all of those messages that are, like I said, we don't get the great messages. We get the, you didn't do it. You didn't do enough. You didn't whatever.
Yeah.
So let's work on those and do everything we can to support you having a great space and talking to who you need to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, my mind has expanded so much just from this conversation, Jennifer. Like, I know that we were talking about honoring your needs from a mental health standpoint, but like it's truly eye-opening how like I love that you hit on like the massage and all these things. Like as an entrepreneur, like a business owner, you probably maybe you do have like Rick, my boss, he had it was a wonderful perk, but he would bring in like a masseuse to do chair massages. And I mean, the thing is, like, yes, that is honoring and self care and all of that. But if I love that you're connecting your home environment and, you know, your home office to a process of honoring those needs. And maybe one of the most important ones.
And you know, like I said, our closet, men and women, full of things that maybe we do retail therapy and their tags hanging on there. That's like hundreds of dollars hanging on a hanger. You know, it's
Yeah.
wasted. And we may be trying to live a different life or have an identity crisis that our clothes in our closet represents to us, or the phases of our life, losses, illnesses, losing jobs. They're all empty nests. There are a million things that our closet alone just triggers. It's crazy.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
don't see it as it is.
Don't see
And
the
so
stories, but
working in helping people do that. I mean, I love working with entrepreneurs, especially because these are people who are looking to be their best.
yeah.
You know, they have an oomph, you know,
Yeah. That the spark, as I call it. Like
the
you,
spark.
yeah. So I say you become an entrepreneur because you want to build the business you desire. You have a vision, but why would you not be in an environment that you desire? Like, why would you?
Because we become blind to it. And a lot of therapists say, well, go declutter. What is all everywhere? Declutter. It feels great. And you're looking around like, this isn't clutter. This is my stuff.
Yeah. 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 Oh my goodness.
So
Well,
we hear these messages, but we don't connect them. But if we start paying attention, we'll realize our own environment is very much contributing to how we feel in general. Our offices and our homes, they either reinforce or fester.
yeah.
The things that are
Yeah.
happening for it. Like
This seems like I know you have a link, so I encourage y'all to book a call with Jennifer.
yeah,
But yeah, this just, you know, I think this is almost like a holiday gift one should give themselves. So
and it's a natural time to reflect, and it's a natural
yeah,
time to make some changes next year. We literally have to make room for our dreams. In our minds, in our hearts, and in our space.
exactly.
We have to make room for our goals. We have to make room, literally, tangibly, and intangibly. They go
Oh my
together.
goodness. Yes. And you're offering a little bit extra time, making room for a little extra for our viewers, correct?
Yes, I do a discovery call. It's about half-hour call, but I think, but I've offered that anybody who wants to talk to me about my journey or about
Yeah.
organizing, or just they want to tell me what a jerk their closet is, I'm happy to hear about that. You don't have to, it doesn't mean you're going to work with me or whatever, but I'm happy to, take you through the process of
Yeah.
fixing, healing some relationships in your space, or just dealing with a system. 45-minute call for anyone that comes from you, Katherine. And I have some really fun free opt-in downloads. And if you give me a call, we'll talk about which ones are best and yummiest for you.
Yeah, there might be some DIY parts of what they could get started on before. So,
well, the 30-day decluttering challenge, that's fun for everyone because you can do nibbles, nibble at it.
Well, that is definitely getting downloaded on my end. So,
I'll get it to you right away.
I know you're going to be tagged here on LinkedIn, but definitely connect with Jennifer here, and yeah, visit her site to book a call, get those wonderful gifts. I can't thank you enough, Jennifer. Like, thank you for the courage to discuss this, for empowering me to bring some things to light in my dark corners as well. You're such a beautiful soul. And yeah, thank you. I am so excited to continue hosting this show into the new year. I think these sorts of conversations are everything we need to hear as entrepreneurs, not just here's how you do this and here's how you do that. And more do. This is simply be and share your journey. So
Honor
thank you.
your needs.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to
Thank
talking
you.
to everybody.
Yeah. And you can find a recording of this on my site after this call. But yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I just want to just reiterate too, like spend this holiday, pause, give yourself that peace to pause. Because I think entrepreneurs can often work through, but really look around. Are you at peace in your environment? And if not, call Jennifer.
Thank you. And
Take
if you
care.
want to have your perfect branding and marketing, you talk to Kath. You talk to
your perfectly authentic self, the perfectly imperfect, right? But
talk to our authentic brand specialist here.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Bye.
Bye.